What is up, everybody, and welcome to a new video. And today we are going to be looking at both of the H1s, the H1 Essential and the H1 XLR. Which one should you get? Which one's going to be the best for you, and how do they sound, compared to each other? So there's huge differences on these. Obviously, the XLR has two XLR and TRS inputs, and this one just has the top XY microphone. Both of these recorders are used in completely different ways. So in my opinion, both of these are good ones to have together. So obviously, you can't control the gain. There's not like a mixer like there is on the other devices. The H1 XLR, the H4, and the H6 all have mixers. Even this one has a little mixer button on it, so it lets you pick your starting point. But this is the only one that doesn't. I think this starts by default at 0 decibels, which that's fine. That's what I usually keep mine at anyway, because these are 32-bit float, and in post-processing, which you will need to do for these audio devices, you'll be doing that anyway. You can just throw your audio on there, but you have so much control with 32-bit float. I don't know why you wouldn't want to have all the control you want and make your audio sound perfect. Right now, you are hearing the audio from my Rode Wireless Pros, but we're about to check these two out. I'm going to show you how you can use them, and you can make a decision on which one you want to get. But in my opinion, getting both of them is the best option. We'll start with this. How do I use this? How does it differ from the H1 XLR? So basically, this one I'll put on my boom pole, and it's super light. I can mount it straight onto the thing, and I can look at my levels, which you really don't need to do with 32-bit float. And really, it's just like a plug it in, hit record, and you don't have to worry about anything else, which is really nice. But with this one, I like to use this in a couple different ways. I don't always use it, but I always have it on me. You always want this in the bag. So first of all, the top XY microphones are super sensitive to like wind or even just talking into it like this. So getting a windscreen, wind muff, whatever you want to call it on there, it looks goofy, but you will cut out a lot of that stuff that you don't want. You still, 32-bit flow is awesome, but that doesn't mean you don't need one of these still. You definitely do. You can still ruin your audio, but it's way less likely if you take the measures to get rid of all of the p-p-p's and stuff like that. Another way I like to use this is if I'm doing, which sometimes this does happen, if I'm doing a scene where I'm shooting someone that's inside of a car. Obviously, you can't hold your boom pole over the car and get their audio, and usually in the car you have a really tight space. You're not going to be able to use this and and it be super unnoticeable. I don't even know. So this can easily be hidden in the scene. You can still pick up good audio. It saved me in a lot of different ways. If you don't need this on there, it becomes way smaller, obviously, and even if you're not pointed like directly at whoever's talking, kind of like the NTG2 that I have in here, like it's very directional, so like wherever you're shooting needs to be pointing directly at the person speaking. This has more of like a not so directional, like I could be talking over here, and because these microphones are pointed this way and this way, it's going to get me over here, it's going to get me over there, it's going to get me pretty good in front and behind it, but usually you would have it pointing, roughly at where you want the audio to pick up. That's another way I use it. My favorite way to use it is to put it on like this. Like if you're doing like a street interview and you want to talk to people like this, it is best to mount it to something so you don't hear any like rustling noise of, rubbing your hand on it or like moving it around in your hand. You can't hear it that bad, but I'll show you exactly what it sounds like to use it in that sort of setting. Okay, so now you're hearing this. I'm not going to mess with any of the audio from either recorder. It's going to be straight from the recorder itself. As you can tell, you know, I'm probably a bit louder. I don't know. You really don't have to hold it too close because then it'll be really loud. But I don't know. I mean, if you're trying to make noise with it, like moving your hand a lot, you can definitely hear it. But if you just hold it kind of like this and just talk, and then you're handing it over to somebody or like interviewing somebody, it's going to work really good. It might look a little goofy, but wouldn't you rather look goofy and have really good audio than to be doing this and getting horrible audio like a lot of people do? I don't know why people do that. It annoys the crap out of me. So this is the H1 Essential. The 32-bit float is just great through all of the Zoom products. I love it. I would definitely try to upgrade. I've upgraded all of my stuff. I had an H5 and H6, original H1. What else did I have? H4N Pro, and then I sold everything, and then now I have this H1, this H1. Where's it at? I have this H6, and I'm about to get rid of my wireless Pros, and I'm going to be getting 2 Zoom F2s. So all my equipment is about to be Zoom except my shotgun mic. So I'm going to turn this one off, and we're going to go to the H1 XLR, and I'm going to tell you how the different ways you can use this and some other stuff about it. Before I go any farther into it, you can either put batteries in these. This one takes 2 AA, and this one takes 2 AAA, but all of the newer Zoom products all have USB Type-C. I don't know if you can see that right there. This one is right there. You can hook it up to a battery if you want, and not even put batteries like actually into the device if you want. That's worked pretty good for me. If your battery does shut off, like the screen shuts off or something, sometimes it does not continue to power it. So I wouldn't really use that as like a trusted source of power. These two last perfectly fine with 2 AA, 2 AAAs. Even better if you can get rechargeable ones, they will last a lot longer. So if you shoot video with a DSLR and you want the option to add 2 XLR inputs, the way it can work is you can get one of these little cold shoe adapters things. You can hook it up to there, and you can slip it into there. You can actually get one of these cables. This is like a 3.5 millimeter, the one with the 2 lines. I forget what they called, TRS, I think. You have to have the right cable, but basically you can connect this into the line in or the line out, and this can go into your microphone input on your camera, and you're going to be hearing this. You can also do that with this if you want like a quick, easy way to mount this H1 onto the top of your camera and just use that. But if you are getting the feed from your recorder like this into your microphone port into the side of your camera, it will not be 32-bit float. It will be 24-bit. And you can use it like that if you want, but why would you buy this and not use 32-bit float? All you have to do is hit record, and then you're recording internally, and then you can use the 24-bit audio that you get, that you hear when you just play your video back. That's 24-bit. Use that to perfectly sync your audio, and then you can delete the audio from what you got internally into your camera and replace it with the 32-bit audio. And then you know, if somebody yelled too loud or something happened, you can turn it down. You can turn something up that was too low. You don't have as much flexibility with 24-bit at all. 32-bit is insane. It has changed the way all my audio sounds on all my video projects and all that. That's one way you can use this. It's hard to compare these two because you're only stuck with the XY microphones on top. And with this, you don't even have that option. You can use whatever you want. So really, the quality that you get out of this is determined mostly by what microphone you use. So, like I said, I have an NTG2 in here. So I'm going to connect this to here. I'm going to show you how I connect my stuff. So I have this little arm right here. You can connect stuff to it on the top. That's what I do. I just throw it up here, and boom, it adds no weight. You can see when you see while you're holding it up, you can see exactly what you're doing. You can hit play, stop, whatever. I know this video isn't about the boom pole, but if you want to know which one this is the Movo blimp, and this pole it looks like a LYX Pro. I don't know, but the cool thing about this setup is it has something that the Rode setup does not have, and that is this on the bottom of the pole. It is obviously an XLR input on the bottom, so you don't have to connect to the recorder and then go up and up and up into your blimp, into the microphone. This basically does all that for you. So what you do is plug up to the bottom right here. Yeah, it's kind of awkward when you like want to set it down and take a break. You kind of have to unplug it, or you can just ruin one of your XLR microphone cables. I haven't actually done that before. I've set it down and it's been fine. But you just take this and then you connect it to the top. And now we are connected. If you want to get a shorter cable, you can, because you do kind of have to wrap it at the base, but still, like, it's a lot easier to handle. So I'm gonna do this the best I can. If you don't know how to use one of these, I guess I'll explain it to you, but this is the main way that I use this setup. I also use my H6. This is more for, I'll explain what I use that for, but if you want to see a whole breakdown of that recorder, I have an older video on my channel, so you can go check that out. But I'm gonna record on this. I'm gonna hold it right outside of frame. It's kind of heavy with one hand, but this is the idea. And now you're hearing this microphone, and yeah, you're gonna see it in the frame. Usually you would have it pointed down at yourself a little bit more. Like I said, it's a directional microphone. Here, let me do it. Just like this. Okay, so this is how it would look and sound if you're using it on a boom pole. Obviously, your blimp would not be in the way, but even though the NTG2 is underpowered, having 32-bit float kind of eliminates that. There is some hissing and stuff that you have to deal with. And there's also handling noise when it comes to this setup too. There are like holders you can get that holds the boom poles, so you don't have to have like an extra person. That's how I usually use it. I don't have my stand right now, but this is the perfect way to capture perfect audio. So yeah, this is a more directional microphone. Obviously, there's a bunch of different microphones you can use. Pretty much every professional setup will have an XLR microphone, cable, port, whatever to it. To me, I think the biggest selling point to this would be if you have a podcast with you and like one other person and you just like talk to each other or whatever, and you already have like 2 microphones and you want something that's 32-bit float, this is perfect. You can hook up both sides and just throw it to the side. It won't even, you can hide it in the scene and you don't even have to worry about it. The cool thing that I like about this is when you record with both sides, when you go to the file, you have 2 separate audio tracks for each side. So you don't have to worry about in the moment of if you're talking louder than the other person or if they're talking louder than you. You can throw in the separate audio tracks and edit them independently. Or if you're happy with how your recording turned out, there is a third audio track that has both of them put together. So you have a lot of options, especially when you record like this. If you have more than 2 people, like you have 4, well, you're gonna need one of these. Still 32-bit float, it just has 2 on each side, and it has the XY microphone on top, but you can take that off. Now they have more options to mount on top, and they also have an extra 1 or I don't know if it's 1 or 2 on each side. No, it's 1 on each side that you can do. So it's like one of these capsules, and you can actually have 3 on each side. And it's affordable. But if you're just, the only way this wouldn't be worth the money, which is $150. This one's about $100. And this is $399. If you don't need the XY microphone and you just need the 2 XLR cable ports, just go with the H1 XLR. You're not, as far as like the quality goes, you're not getting anything special with the H4. I don't have one, but I've used the H1e, so I have used it, but just not the essential version. But in my opinion, having both of these is better than spending a little more money on just the H4, because then you have 2 separate ways to do it. So basically put these 2 together, you got an H4. But if you want to save some money, definitely just go with both of these. Technically, you'll have more options instead of just one big recorder. That's just my opinion. You can use it however you want. But like I said, these 2 sound completely different. So you can't really compare them, but they are amazing together. The last thing I want to touch on is I don't know why Zoom did this. It is so weird. Actually, let me show you this one too. So these are the 3 that I have. The 2 H1s and the H6. There is something that this recorder has that's, it's not that big of a deal, but to me it is, because I've had problems with some of the older devices before. This has something that these 2 other recorders does not have. And that is a solid SD card door. I know that sounds really dumb. So this one opens up like a little, like a little swing door. That's what it looks like. It takes, all these take micro SDs, and then look, it clicks in. You don't have to worry about it shaking around or nothing. It doesn't make any noise, and it is plastic, and it clicks in like that. This one, the H1, it does not. This has a little silicone little flap, and these sometimes don't like, after a while, they don't like to stay in. They kind of just push into the little slot. And I've had my old H1, it wore out and it didn't want to stay in. I think the one on the H6 is even worse than the H1 because it's bigger and it like comes out more. Yeah, see, like I hate this so much and it's still just the same size. So why? And this one doesn't even snap in that great. Like it kind of just slides in. This one feels more solid than this one. I know it's not a huge deal, but it's just so annoying when these wear out over time. But that's what I don't get with this. Like this is such, I mean, even though it's just plastic, I would rather it be plastic and snap into place and not wear out over time. I've had this one for about a year. I've had this one for longer, and this was the first one that I upgraded to. And yeah, I would, if I had to put money on it, this one, this little flap, the plastic one that snaps in, is going to last significantly longer than the silicone ones. I know that, I'm sure you won't hear anyone else complain about that. That's my only complaint though. Like they could have better preamps in the more expensive versions. I don't really know all that much about the specific preamps in each one, but they sound roughly the same. You're just paying for extra features basically with the H6, with the H1 and all that. So it all really just depends on what functionality you need, but I highly recommend upgrading to 32-bit float. It is the best thing you'll ever do if you want to even be professional at all. You can use like the regular, you know, H6, H4M Pros, whatever, but 32-bit float is definitely worth the upgrade. I jumped straight into it as soon as it came out. I only bought these because at the time when these came out, those were the only lav mics with 32-bit float, besides the Zoom F2s. But now I'm thinking I'm going to upgrade or downgrade, however you want to see it, to the F2s. Yeah, so I am selling my wireless Pros. If you want me to get into that in another video, I might even make a YouTube short of it. It's not enough to make a full-blown video out of. I will do that. So let me know in the comments which one is your favorite, which one you're going to pick up, or if you're going to pick up both. And subscribe to the channel for more videos like this. And I will catch you in the next one.